What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing really well. Welcome to a video for F1 2022 based on settings that I use on the Logitech G920 steering wheel. There is a PlayStation version of this wheel as well, which is the Logitech G923. I imagine they both work exactly the same. I am using it on PC. I've never plugged it into an Xbox, so I don't know how good these settings will be on the Xbox, but I imagine it's all fairly same, the same sensors, same sort of stuff, so it work exactly the same sort of way. Let's be clear as well, on the PC there is a Logitech hub that I would recommend downloading if you're on either the console or the PC, and get this steering wheel configured as to the settings that you find most comfortable, because doing them little tweaks do make all the difference in F1 2022. Also, let's be clear, I'm not the fastest on the game. I don't claim to be the fastest on the game. I play the game because I enjoy the game, I have fun in the game, and I want to just be stopping myself from spinning and having silly crashes and stuff like that. And I will say a big shout out to one of my followers who did recommend my brake setting that I've recently changed again, and I've been playing about with it, and I will show you that in this video. So thank you very much to him, and appreciate all you guys for all the comments you give me, because you do give me some good pointers as well. So let's jump into the video and I'll show you the settings I use. Right, okay, so we are now on the PC in the Logitech hub, as you can see. Just a quick reminder, some of you guys might be driving a desk with your pedals not fixed to anything, and the same with the steering wheel just being fixed to desk. As you can see, I'm in a Next Level Racing, I think it's F-GT rig, which is a fully sort of metal rig with all the bolts and pieces, quite sturdy, and my pedals are bolted down so they don't move, so I can generally get a full 100% braking on the brake pedal. And as I said earlier in the intro, the brake pedal on the Logitech G920 has got a bit of a rubber piece behind it, so when you press it, it's meant to give it a bit more of a sort of that natural car feeling. It does, but it doesn't. It's obviously very stiff, and then when you've got it on carpet, it's very hard to get that full 100%. And I know some people have actually changed their clutch pedal to brake, but I don't like that. I think the clutch pedal is too soft, and it gives you, I find I over brake with a clutch pedal. So anyway, you could change the settings for the brake pedal either in this Logitech G920 hub, or in the Logitech hub, not the G920 hub, in the Logitech hub, or you could change it in the game, or there is another way of doing it within Windows, which I will show you as well. So in the Logitech hub, these are my pedals. It sometimes goes steering wheel, sometimes goes pedals. So these are my pedals. As you can see, all these settings are set at 50. 50, just so you're aware, is the normal setting for the pedals. It's what they call the linear output, 1-to-1. So every push on the pedal, as you can see in the clutch, every push on the pedal is going up 1-to-1. So that's the top of the clutch, and that's me letting go of the clutch, and then obviously slowly touching the clutch, and the same for the brake pedal, all the way up to 100%. When you change your sliders, if you go down, it's less sensitive. When you go up, it's more sensitive. So with the brake, you could, for example, put that brake up to 100%, and you see how quick the brake goes up. And I'm not really putting no pressure on that at all. Or you could go down, and it's a lot more, and it takes a lot more to press the brake down. When I first started playing with this, I was playing about with it a lot. I found that leaving the clutch and the brake is the best way, and then make a few adjustments in the game. The accelerator, as you see, I've got it on 45. So the reason I've got it on 45, I've lowered the sensitivity just a tiny amount on the accelerator, because as probably some of you guys know, it's very sensitive in F1 2022, and sometimes when just a little press on the accelerator can make you spin. So I just took a little bit of sensitivity off that pedal, and as you press it, it doesn't. You can see I've got a lot more control on that pedal now as I accelerate, and it makes the game a lot more easy to control when you turn off all your assists and stuff like that. So that's my settings for my pedals. The steering wheel, exactly the same. Operating range I've left at 900, because in F1 2022 now, you've got that sort of GT mode, which I don't never play, and you sometimes need the 900 operating range. So I've left that at 900. But I also play other games, so I don't like to change it too much, and that gives you the full sort of 2 and a bit turns or whatever it is of the steering wheel. Sensitivity, again, as I said, in the pedals, linear. So when you click on that, you'll see it says here 1-to-1 output is 50. You don't want to change that. If you change it, you might want to change it if you're finding your steering's a little bit too sensitive in the game. I wouldn't bother. For me personally, I think it's okay. Centering spring doesn't make no difference in this game whatsoever, so you just leave it as it is. And then the centering spring is obviously for more non-force feedback games. So you click that box and you change your centering spring to how powerful you want the steering wheel to sort of jump back to position. So that's the setup of the Logitech hub. Okay, so now we're in F1 2022 and you want to go to game options, you want to go to settings, and you want to go to controls, force feedback, and so forth. Right, I've got multiple different setups that I've been using and testing for quite a while now, and as you can see, got custom control scheme 234 button change and 234 test, which is what I'm currently using, and this is the one I feel most comfortable with at the moment. So these are the settings I'll use. I'm not going to show you all these ones because there's all different types of things that I've been playing about with that haven't been working or have been working, but I found this is my most comfortable at the moment. So we'll go into these settings. Right, so go into edit and I'll show you the normal control scheme, which I haven't changed absolutely anything. This is just all default to what is normally within the game, so I haven't touched any of these settings. So this is entirely up to you. As I said, if you want to change the brake pedal to your clutch or vice versa, do so. But I've got mine as all the normal settings. So in calibration, so again, I've not changed too much on the calibration settings, but what I have changed, as you can see, throttle dead zone. This kind of ties in with what I was showing you within the Logitech hub. I've put that at 2, so the initial press of my throttle isn't as sensitive and isn't as quick to accelerate. I may change this again down to sort of 1. Now I've changed that setting in the Logitech hub. I've been playing about with it, but when I didn't use a Logitech hub, I had it set at 2, and I found it was working really well. So my initial press, I wasn't always spinning, and it took a bit longer for the car to accelerate out of corners. Braking dead zone, I've just put a 1 just to give the brake. So sometimes you touch the brake a tiny bit, I was getting a bit of I was sometimes causing myself to brake, so it just pushes the brake dead zone away a little bit, so the initial press is not as sensitive as I push down, because as you can see I've got brake saturation at 12, so I was recommended by a follower, as I said, to use it. I did have it set on F1 21 and then moved over to F1 22 and found that I was sort of struggling with the saturation I had set up. I took it off. I was using the brake as normal, with no saturation. But what I've been finding I've been doing a lot of was I was over braking and locking up the wheels all the time, going into corners, and some of my reels you might have seen, that's what I've been doing. So I changed the brake saturation on recommendation from a follower, and I've put it to 12. I think he said 15. I went to 15. It was too much. I was locking up even worse. So I moved it down a little bit to 12, and actually at the moment I feel quite comfortable on 12. 12 is quite a good number. I did take it down to 10, but found 10 not to. I was pressing the pedal too hard. I'm just trying to find that balance. So it's worth playing about with the braking saturation a little bit, just to see what suits you really well. It's all personal preference, but as I say, these are my settings. With regards to force feedback, so force feedback, when the game first came out, as most of you know, for the Logitech wheels, there was no feedback, and it took them a little bit of time to get that sorted in the game. And at one point I was running my force feedback at 150, and I do like to run my force feedback back at 150 because it's like you're fighting the car and it feels real, but it wasn't. I found I was a lot slower than what I am at the moment. So currently at the moment I've got my force feedback settings, my vibration and force feedback strength at 65. I have been playing about with that. As I said, I've been knocking it up, and that was with some on the other profiles, and I've been taking it down. 65, as I've found to be quite a nice balance. On track effects, I've actually got that set higher. Some people tell you to wipe it off completely. As I said, I play for fun. I'm not an esports racer. I'm an older guy. I just want to play. I want to have some good races. I want to feel everything that I can. I've got it set to 65. If you generally have it set too high, the steering wheel's constantly vibrating and rumbling, and it's really noisy and it's quite annoying. So I've got that set at 65. Rumble strip effects. Again, I like to feel when I'm touching the curbs and all that sort of stuff. I've got that set to 50. You can set it a bit higher. It's up to you, but I found 50 to be quite a nice number, and it's the right effect. I think going a bit higher is a bit too much. Off-track effects, you want to feel when you're on the grass, and you want to feel when you're on the dirt, the gravel, but I don't want it too much, so I've just set it at 35. I've had a little play about with it. I found that to be quite good. Wheel dampering. So I actually quite like wheel dampering being on, because you can sort of you can feel the grip in the car. However, when you have the wheel dampering on, it makes the steering wheel really heavy, and it becomes quite difficult to control at times, especially in I found the more higher speed corners. I just need to turn the steering wheel a little bit. I was having to turn it a little bit harder, and I was finding myself going off the track a lot more, so I took the wheel dampering completely off. It doesn't really work. Understeer Enhance. So some people say to have this on, some people say to have it off. I like it off. I felt all the time that when I'm turning the wheel, that you can feel the steering wheel going light, and you're losing grip straight away. And it's a really bizarre feeling, because you know you've got grip, but the steering wheel's telling you otherwise, and so you find yourself turning a little bit more, a little bit harder, a little bit more aggressive, and you're sometimes oversteering into corners. So I've turned that off just to sort of to get that fine balance. I think with the force feedback being at sort of set as it is. One of the settings I have got, which I do quite like using, I do play about with on one of my other settings, that's my wheel dampering set at about 50. Understeer Enhance is on, and the force feedback set to about 130. And it's really good fun, but I can't be competitive against people online. So I like to, as I say, I don't win races. I just like to be sort of in the mid pack, having good fights with people in the mid pack. If I can get near the front, then brilliant. And as I say, maximum wheel rotation 360. That's for F1, F2 cars. Don't know why that's set at 776, because I don't use it. I might have just caught it by mistake and not realised and just left it there. But that should be at 900. And that's it basically. They are my settings for my Logitech G920 steering wheel. Hopefully that helps you, and hopefully you can find your sort of ideal settings. As I say, it's all personal preference. Use mine as a baseline. It may not work for you. It may work for you. Just give it a go, and then find that balance. But I would say that going into the calibration and just playing about with these settings, and it tells you what they do on the right. Again, if you knock the linearity up, the higher you knock that up, the more less sensitive the pedal will be. So you could, if you can't get into Logitech Hub, you could put that on here. You could add that sort of 5% onto here and do it that way. But I've left it at 0 because I've done it in the other hub. Again, with the saturation, that is how far you need to push the pedal to get to full acceleration. Again, you could change that if you want to in here and not play about with the actual settings on the PC. So you have got the options to do it in the game. I've done it in the hub purely because it's easier. I can then go into other games and use a similar sort of settings as I've got on all my racing games. Okay, so anyway, stop me waffling on. Thanks very much for watching. Hope this comes in useful to you. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that reaction button, thumbs up, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this on. Much appreciated. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for all the comments recently as well. It means a lot, and I do enjoy making this sort of content for all the guys that are of a similar level to me. I'm not, as I said, I'm not a esports racer. I just do it because I enjoy it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.